I wanted to talk to you guys about an incident that happened down in Atlanta, Georgia. And a woman down there was subsequently killed yesterday in a grocery store. She was 41 years of age. Her name will be inclusive in the clip. And the reason is I don't want to spoil the footage for you. But it's apparent that we've got a lot of people, and I was just talking about this yesterday, that there's a lot of people coming out of the pandemic that have all kinds of litanies of different mental problems and things like that. And yesterday, this woman was working in a grocery store, and she was murdered because she asked someone to put on a mask. There's a black police chief, a black sergeant in this area, so I'm assuming that this area is predominantly, or maybe predominantly black, which most of Atlanta is, which I have no problem with that at all. The problem I do have is that this man decided he was going to come back and kill this woman and kill subsequently a couple other people, or try to attempt to kill other people by shooting randomly. And so I looked at this footage, and like I said, it didn't take me by surprise because there's so many wackos out here nowadays. I looked at this footage and I said to myself, I said, you know what, there's something wrong here. There's something that's not being counted. This is a pandemic. This is even at epic proportions that we've never even, dealt with before. And you have to be very careful. Many times, even on my way to walking where I'm at right now, I had a young lady that walked past me. You're going to understand what I mean by this. I had a young lady walk past me, and I literally moved out of her way so she could walk by. I thought I was showing her, some type of respect. This woman walked past me, did this little move, and looked at her watch, and she wasn't really attractive at all. I thought I was doing a service to her by moving out her way, but evidently I wasn't. This woman became a little irate, and that's what I want to talk about. Ladies, you gotta watch who you're talking shit to. I've told you this before, and I'll tell you again. There's a lot of men out here that have literally lost their minds since this pandemic, and they will do any and everything to you, and including murder. So, ladies, I know a lot of times you're used to talking to the guys around your neighborhood, maybe your friends or whoever, everywhere you want to, jumping up in their face and everything like that. And some type of argument ensued with this woman for her to end up killed. And it was all because she asked this man to put his mask on. His mask, which is also linked to the pandemic. So guys, I will tell you this, and I will say no more before I let this footage roll. Ladies, be careful. Be careful who you're arguing with. Be careful before you start arguments with these men. Some of these men out here will go to the extreme and get you up out of here. RIP to this woman. She was a long-time worker at this grocery store, and I will let both clips play
Right now, a cashier killed as an argument over a mask at a grocery store ends in gunfire. This happening right now near South DeKalb Mall.
A reserve deputy for the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office was also injured in the shooting, along with the man accused of shooting the cashier. We want to get straight to Doug Richards live with the latest. Doug?
Yes, the reserve deputy was inside the Big Bear grocery store. He was working an extra job. The reserve deputy was actually not a full-time employee of the sheriff's office, but was working a part-time job, and reserve deputies typically are in uniform and have with them their service weapons. In this case, about mid-afternoon, DeKalb County Police and Sheriff personnel swarmed onto the asphalt outside the store after the exchange of gunfire, which sent 3 people, including the unnamed reserve sheriff's deputy, to the hospital. Sheriff Melody Maddox says the deputy was in stable condition, but that the cashier died. She couldn't say much about the condition of the other person shot when we talked with her earlier this afternoon. We talked with an eyewitness who was inside when the altercation started.
But I seen him when he walked in. He started just slapping the lady about something. I don't know what it was. Then he started shooting.
Did they know each other?
I had the slightest idea. I was just in there shopping.
So he assaults her.
Right. He just walks in the store, past the guard, past me, and just started hitting her with the gun.
And then who fired the first shot?
I believe he did, because when I seen the gun, I told the officer he had a gun, and I took off.
Once the officer, the shooting took place, the officer pulled his weapon, at which time started firing back at the suspect, striking the suspect.
So it is not clear exactly how the gunfire evolved from a dispute over a mask, although if you look at the signs outside the store, there are several of them that say that masks are required in order to get service inside the store. So we know the cashier, according to the sheriff, died during the altercation. She did say that the deputy who fired at least one of the shots was in stable condition when he was taken out of here. Again, we don't know the condition, at least at this moment, of the third individual involved. And the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which leads investigations that involve officers who fire their service weapons, resulting in injuries, they're leading this investigation as well. Back to you.
What took place today, approximately a little after 1 p.m., we had a subject enter the Big Bear grocery store, which is in the parking lot of South DeKalb Mall, Candler Road. There was some confrontation, an argument, not for sure exactly what, in reference to the wearing of a mask, at which time the subject pulled out a weapon and shot the cashier at the location. The individual is deceased, and the officer, we had an off-duty officer, a 30-year veteran off-duty officer that retired from DeKalb County Police Department, a reservist now with the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office working, in turn retrieved his weapon, pulled his weapon and started firing at the subject. That officer was struck twice, transported to Atlanta Medical, where he is in stable condition, and the suspect was struck a couple of times, has been transported to Grady Memorial Hospital at this time. The DeKalb County Police Department responded and is investigating along with GBI as of right now, and that is but the information that we have thus far. If we have any questions.
So the reserve deputy, are you going to be able to release his name tonight?
Yes, we will be able to get that name. Once we get his name, we'll be able to give it to you once we get all that information. Yes, sir.
His photo as well?
I'm sorry, I cannot.
His photograph?
Yes.
And so to be clear, the suspect was wounded. He is at a hospital right now.
Yes, the suspect in this shooting was shot by the on-duty officer at that time.
Because the suspect, in your investigation, shows shot a woman and killed her. Is that correct?
Yes, the suspect in turn shot the cashier that was working.
From what you've been able to tell so far, you have sort of can you walk us through the sequence of events that led up to this shooting?
Well, I really don't have all that information as of right now. We're still waiting on the final investigation. GBI as well as DeKalb County Police investigators are still on the scene and ascertaining information in order to get that to us. As we get more, we will be able to give it to you once we get it, but that is all we have as of right now.
And what is the nature of the reserve deputy's wounds?
The only thing we can tell you right now, he is in stable condition.
Can you tell us anything about the victim? Has their family been notified? How are the co-workers doing in this situation?
Right now, once again, that is all the information that we have. Again, this is just preliminary until GBI as well as the DeKalb County Police Department investigators get back with us to give us more to be able to give to you all.
Can you give us any information of any possible relationship between the suspect and the woman that was killed?
Unknown, that is unknown at this time as well.
What is the nature of the argument then that, as I think you referenced in the mask, what can you tell us about?
The only thing that has been given to us is that it was over a mask. Don't know if they were wearing it or not wearing it, but we don't know at this time.
Sheriff, you've been sheriff and been in law enforcement for many years. This is something that everybody worries about every day, about what we might encounter. What do you think of this whole thing? Inside the supermarket, people just shot.
Well, first of all, let me just say we just want to, make sure that everybody is safe. That is our number one priority here at the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office. And we understand that with the wearing of the mask and not wearing the mask, people have their own opinion about it, but it is very sensitive at this time. but we still want to make sure that let people know that we are here to make sure that they are safe as they go about their day-to-day duties throughout, daily activities.
Can you tell us, have you established that the suspect is the one that who shot the deputy after the deputy fired at him? Is that your understanding? What can you tell us?
According to the investigation thus far, what has been given to us, yes, sir.
And so what he saw that he was opening fire, what can you tell us?
The only thing I can tell you, once again, at this time, is that once the officer, the shooting took place, the officer pulled his weapon, at which time started firing back at the suspect, striking the suspect.
Can you set the scene inside the store? Was anybody injured while they were running away? Did the store have a lot of customers at the time?
Well, there were several individuals inside the store at this time, and once again, they're still under doing an investigation at this time.
And to be clear, the woman who was killed was an employee of the store, she a cashier?
As of right now, was a cashier at the store.
And so, as far as you know, this obviously happened in the checkout lane then?
Same thing as what was given to me. That's all that we have right now. Yes, sir.
Do you know what the policy is of that particular store? Do customers have to wear masks?
I do not know of that, with the policy, if they have that in place. As we know, we're still following, some of the CDC guidelines, so it will be up to that store owner to decide, if it's meant to make it mandatory or not mandatory, but we do not know of the policy at this time with the store, no.
I know can't identify the deputy just yet, but what can you tell us about him? You said he's a 30-year veteran of the sheriff's office. Tell us about him and his character and his response in this instance.
He's very responsible. As you can tell, he's a 30-year veteran, so he has surely served his time, and we just want to make sure and let everybody know we're most of all pleased that he is okay, and that's number one and first and foremost. But he is a stand-up professional individual, and he loves what he does. As you see, he's continuing to do what he does to make sure that everybody is safe once again as they go in and out of that store.
So he must have been fairly close to where this all unfolded very quickly to respond as quickly as he was able to respond.
Well, that's part of his training. 30-year veteran, it's several years up under his belt, and he has training that has taken several training tactics and techniques that he's probably had, I'm sure, over his 30 years span as a law enforcement officer.
And from what you've been able to tell so far, the suspect fired several shots, including the shot that killed the cashier. Is that correct?
As of right now.
Some of the witnesses said he was kind of shooting at random, kind of wild.
I have not gotten.
This deputy was able to stop.
I have not gotten that information as of yet. Once again, as we get that information, as we get more detailed in it from DBI or DeKalb County Police investigators, we will be able to be more detailed and give you that information.
So my question is basically, sorry, just to follow up, was basically, do you think that this is going to show that he was able to intervene in such a way to prevent more people from being hurt, or what can you tell so far?
Well, I will say he responded, and he responded very well to possibly keep individuals from being hurt. And once again, that is what he's trained to do. That's part of his 30-year career in law enforcement. All of us here, are trained to be able to intervene and respond.
At the risk of his own life?
Yes. This is what we do every day.
Did the victim die on scene, and where was she shot?
I do not have that information as to where she was pronounced or even where she was shot at this time.
What charges are the suspects going to be charged with?
Well, right now, well, we're looking at, I'm sure it's probably going to be with the investigators' murder, so once again, we thankful that everybody thus far, and you want to send condolences to the family of the deceased in reference to this, but we want to make sure that the public know to be safe out there, to just be safe and know that we are here to support them and make sure that they are safe and that they are okay.
And just to be clear, you're here talking about this, and is the sheriff's office as the lead investigative agency on this case, is that correct?
No, we have the GBI that's handling the officer-involved shooting, and with the suspect shooting the victim, DeKalb County Police Department investigators will be handling that investigation.
Sheriff, you talk about training. You talk about the more difficulty, how hard it is when you're facing a situation, somebody's firing a gun, but you're in a building with people. You got to be a lot more, I guess you're careful anyway, but I mean, there's a lot more dynamics to it than just one guy in each parking lot.
Well, it's about being vigilant. And that's what we're trained from day one as officers, walking into the door as law enforcement officers, to be vigilant. And what I can do is I have two outstanding individuals, Chief Akes as well as Chief Evans right here, that will be happy to speak more on that if you'd like.
Hi, I'm Chief Evans, Chief of Administration.
Mr. Chief, what can you tell us and add to where you are with this investigation? What can you tell us about the reserve building?
Since we are not doing the investigation has been conducted by the DeKalb County Police Department as well as the GBI.
But can you speak to the training of that officer?
Yeah.
Talking about him being able to shoot carefully and just go after the suspect.
Most definitely. The officer, the deputy, has gone through several years of training. Like I said, he has 30 years of training behind him from day one in the academy. At the DeKalb County Police Department, they go through a lot of different training, a lot of different skills, a lot of different situations and shoot, don't shoot situations, as well as taking care of, making sure we take care of the public.
Can you guys explain why the GBI is involved? Because it was an off-duty, like, special, right? So even though it was off-duty and not under this agency, the GBI still had to get involved?
Yes, it does. Whenever an officer-involved shooting takes place, it is on the sheriff or that chief of police to call out the GBI. Is that their option if they want to? And our Sheriff Maddox, has elected to have the GBI come in and do basically a investigation on it, make sure we are being transparent.
Thank you. Thank you. The suspect has been was transported to Grady Memorial Hospital.
And did the officer have on a vest at the time?
The officer was wearing its protective bulletproof vest. Yes.
So that likely saved his life.
Yes, it did. Yes. Thank you.